So you guys been wanting me to change the theme song sound quality, but I'm gonna keep the same song. So here we go. This girl reviews movies, games, and books. Just how she plays them, and she does that. She does it with the cat. Does that make her crazy? Does that make her crazy? Probably. Hopefully that fixed the audio. Crazy Cat does not own any of these pictures or books or pictures. I use them under fair use for educational purposes, so the people who watch them learn a little bit something when they do it. Hopefully that fixed the audio. I only did all those years ago. No, I don't want to do this. I'm scared of this thing. Okay, guys. Remember the 5th of November, the gunpowder treason and the plot. I have no reason why the gunpowder of treason should we ever be forgotten. And very good poem. So I guess this movie's now 20 years old now. Man, time for everybody to feel old. Who was alive during 2005. I remember when this movie came out, or around the time this movie came out. I was in government class, and we watched this movie. I had to sign a permission slip. My parents had to sign a permission slip for me to watch it, since it's rated R. And a couple years later, I think I read the graphic novel. I don't remember every single bit of it, but I think this movie did a great job adapting the novel. It kind of reminds me of another book out there that I read a couple years later after that, was 1984. And both of them still reign supreme. Are we still wondering, does 2 + 2 = 5? I don't know. Are we? But I do like both of these movies. I think I like this one better, because unlike 1985, this one actually has a happy ending. But a lot of people would say if this graphic novel is about it, that book was still going on. So yeah, that's what a lot of people I heard interpret say, that this one's basically a continuation from a different Arthur. But yeah, because since it's both about a dictatorship, and some people think that 1984 isn't take place in England, just like this one does. So V is supposed to be a Guy Fawkes mask, and he was a prisoner where he was it's kind of like a concentration camp, you can say. It was like his neighbor because he was in cell 5, just like his name was Vendetta. Everything around him has to do with V. And then when there's a fire happens, he escapes a bunch of burns. We don't ever see his face, because we're not supposed to see his face, because he's an idea. He is all of us, just like Evie says at the very end of the movie, that he was my father, he was my mother, he was my brother, he was my friend, he was all of us. So that's why I pretty much think that that's why we don't ever see him at all. He ends up saving her from being taken to, because she was out after curfew, and who knows what those men were going to do to her if he didn't save her. And takes her to a concert where he has a bunch of music playing, but instead of seeing the instruments, he just hears it on the broadcaster part of the neighborhood, and he's an inductor, and it blows up, and it forms a V. And since she was there when this happened, she is pretty much his accomplice, even though she had no idea that he was going to do this. She was still there, so she was still. If she gets caught, she'll face the same punishment as him, and he ends up taking over the news area that where she works, and she's the one that brings. And she ends up going to bring all the tapes that they're gonna play in the news. Instead, he takes over the broadcast and reports that he was gonna that there's some wrong with this government that they're in, and he is the Guy Fawkes of their era, which was a guy now 400 years ago who tried to blow up Parliament and gets hanged for it because he thought there was some wrong with his government. And basically that's what he thinks here. And unlike Guy Fawkes, he actually succeeds in his idea of it. So after he puts mask up on all the news broadcasters so he can get out of there, and he has a gun pointed right at him, Evie ends up saving him by pepper spraying the guy who was about to shoot him, and repayment for her saving him, he takes her and brings her to his house where they watch the Count of Monte Cristo that was made back in 1930s, and he makes her breakfast where she sees the burnt hands that he got from the fire he was in after he escaped, and he kills the voice of England when he wants to kill a priest that is a very bad one, who is not really being a priest, he's just being a pervert in my eyes, since he's disobeying one of his vows, and ends up killing him, but not before Evie pretends to be one of his people he's supposed to have fun with, and she tries to warn him. V comes in, and the reason why he allows her to come and help him do this kill, because she tells him about the time her parents were taken from the government when her little brother died from the pills that was sent out at St. Mary's, which a lot of people died, and one of them was her brothers, and her parents was trying to correct that problem by putting out flyers, and they ended up getting taken, and she never saw her parents again. And basically her dad said it is but a lie this government is, and V liked that. So he since he saw a lot of himself and her parents, he decided to have him help them. But she says, I want somebody to take the fear out of me that I have, because she's afraid because of what happened to her parents, and end up going. So she ends up leaving and going with her friend, which is a night Choctaw host who does a big joke against the Chancellor, the dictator of this world, who's played by John Hurt. He makes jokes about the Chancellor and gets himself captured just like her parents did. So she gets to see the same exact thing after V kills the doctor that gave him all these gave a bunch of people insurance, but since she's like the only one that he killed peacefully by putting poison when she was sleeping. So like the other two, the priest and the guard, he killed them violently, but he killed her peacefully because she knew that he was coming for her eventually. So when her friends gets captured, V makes Evie think that she's in the same type of prison that he was in, even down to the fact that she gives her the same letters that of her neighbor who was a lesbian actress who was getting killed for what she is after the war from America gets brought over here, because apparently there was a war, and this saves like person who took over there came over here and did not like no homosexuals come over here at all. And after he tortured Evie to try to find out, she would like tell anyone where he was at. Really, because to me, she really didn't know anything. She didn't know. She probably wouldn't know where he, because we did not see her blindfold her when they left to go kill the priest. So she could have told him something about that, but she would not be able to tell them who he is. But she was tortured by sprayed by water, stuff like that, and have her head ducked into water a lot, and have her head shaved. So, but he showed her that was all fake, but he took away her fear and let her stand in the rain. Then he showed her that her neighbor was a real person by showing a memorial to her. And the next day, she did decide to leave, but she said she will be there for him when he decides to blow out Parliament like he promised. But right before that, he sends a bunch of masks to everybody in London so they can play along with his idea. And a little girl who like idolized him and started spraying V all over the posters that the dictator puts up that says strength through unity, unity through faith. And she would spray it on there, but once she got the mask, she started wearing it over her glasses, and she ends up getting killed. And a bunch of the people who like saw it happen, instead of letting it happen and not do anything about it, they beat up the guy who did it. And so about like a year later, between this movie goes by, and now it's the 5th of November again. Well, the end of 5th and the 4th of November, and the end of midnight, it's time for them to open their building. But this time around, it's not just one man doing it, it's all of them on her place doing it. But before that, he kills the Chancellor and Creedy by having Creedy actually kill Chancellor, and he kills a bunch of guards and Creedy by pulling off having a bulletproof vest in the bottom of him. So he's kind of pulling off a Clint Eastwood, if you may. But unlike him, he actually doesn't make it through because he got shot too many times, really. But he still made it back to where the train was, and let it be up to Evie if the apartment gets blown up. So that was his gift to her, by letting it be her choice if it happens at all. And also, he was going to stand up. He was right in front of the cops because there's a detective who's trying to stop him during all this and try to get him to do this. And he fools him by telling him the whole entire thing that happened with him with the pills and the prison he was at. And that's supposed to be off. Nobody's supposed to go there after what happened. He even went there, but he like pictured it, V and all those people who were there happening. So the guy was standing right in front of him with a different mask on, and he didn't even realize it. And so he tried to stop Evie from being the last domino that's to be dropped, because if you like see, there's this big montage where V is putting down a bunch of dominoes, and when he hits the domino with his finger, a bunch of other dominoes fall down that form the V, and all but one does not fall. And now the last domino to fall is Evie. And I like the fact that the domino, that since she's supposed to represent that domino's there, that one that didn't fall. And so she pulls it, and everybody in London, except for the guards, dress up as V and the Guy Fawkes mask, and watch it happen. And even her friend who died for him making a joke about the Chancellor by having like a little joke where he had somebody that looked like the Chancellor be there, and the Tonight Show was, his face was there, and even that little girl that got killed by the men were there because he is all of them, even the ones who died. And her friend got killed because he had her dressed up as had the Chancellor dressed up as Queen of England as a joke. So since he kind of made a joke of the Chancellor twice, he ends up being killed for it. So I like this movie. I'm probably gonna give it like a 10 out of 10. I think Hugh Weaving did a great job as V. Yes, the same guy who was in Lord of the Rings as Elrond, and in The Matrix, who played the bad guy in that, is the one who plays V in here. So yeah, I think he did a great job. We never see his face, but all he has is a voice, because that he is all of us. So remember, guys, remember the 5th of November, the gunpowder treason, and the plot. I know of no reason why the gunpowder treason will ever be forgotten. Goodbye. Subscribe. 90 if you guys are not subscribed to me, doesn't cost you anything. Bye bye.